All right. Like as we said earlier, we are going to be starting with introduction to Linux, then setting up our Linux environment, then our Linux commands and tools. I want to believe the the file I sent to the group. We've all seen it, and um, read we've read the items inside because it's part of what we'll be doing today. And I feel it's always a good thing for us to have a familiarity of a new concept so that when you're learning it, you can easily understand what they are about. All right. So I would say, what is Linux? I want this document will be sent to the group for everyone to see, and I'm currently trying to record the meeting also so that we can also refer back to it. So please just try to just pay attention and grasp the concept. If you have any difficulty in any of the things I'm saying, you can just leave a chat. I would try to read it just to make sure that we are all in one accord. All right. Okay. So Linux, um, just like Windows and our phones, our Mac OS, the Android, Linux is also an operating system. Um, the phone we use, some of us here we use iPhone, some of us here we use Samsung, um, Huawei, and the rest. So which mostly run either on Android or on iOS. So the major the major um, software that powers the entire device is the OS, which is the operating system. All right. So it enables every other devices or every other component of that phone to communicate with each other. You know. So in a simple definition, an operating system is what makes a computer work. It lets you talk to the computer and tells it how to run its programs, use files, connect to the internet and more, use WhatsApp, whatever, browse, go to TikTok, go to Instagram, is the OS that powers that. All right. Without the OS, you don't have a phone. All right. Just like what we have here, it says think of it like the brain of the computer. It controls every single thing. Okay. When you see something like CPU, it's the full meaning is central processing unit. Okay. That's what helps for logical reasoning. Most of the technical details that run in your phones and our computers is the CPU that actually processes all of this data. All right. Then we have the RAM. The full meaning of RAM is random access memory. It helps to store temporary informations. All right. So that's why you see most laptops, you see, can see 16 gig RAM, 8 gig RAM. So they're just to just store temporary information. For example, when you're browsing, maybe google.com or you're browsing Facebook, you see that sometimes you don't have to constantly have to put in your passwords. That's because it stores part of that authentication, in the browser for you. And all these things are saved in the RAM. You can clear it off the save space in your device and all that. So the memory is there, which is this, the memory to help you store all your files and all that. So Linux is very important because it's open source, it's very secure, it is free. and it is what powers all of the servers. Netflix, Google, Twitter, they all use Linux. If you think of any company, any major company right now in the world that is running, they all run on Linux. So Linux is a very powerful tool, and you cannot be a good IT engineer without actually knowing Linux. Linux is very, very, very key, to our learning as a DevOps engineer. Because if you don't know Linux, you don't know anything. Because all of the other tools that we're going to be learning, such as Jenkins, Kubernetes, Docker, and the rest, AWS, Azure, they're all running on Linux. So if you do not understand Linux, how will you understand them? So that is why this class is going to be starting with Linux because it's core foundation. You can see a simple snippet here that says there's no place like home. So this home will get there. You understand why there's a slash by the home. Okay, this is just about the history of Linux and a bit of a humor here that says that the father of computer is the man called Charles Babbage. So just have that in your head that computer actually has a father. These are people who started computing in terms of analytical computing, that helped the the advancement of the computer to become an analytical machine. All right. So this is just the history. I feel it's important for us to know about it before going deep into it. So why do we use Linux? Like I said earlier, it is secure, extremely secure. That is why most and top organizations use it. It's very easy to install. It can run on any hardware. It's very easy to maintain. It's very lightweight. It's not heavy. It's not about 10 gig, 12 gig, 20 gig thereabout. It's very light, 2 gigabytes. Even there are some Linux distros. When I mean distros, I'm referring to all of these here, all right, that are about 250 MB, 350 MB, 800 MB, depending on the download. Okay. And also it has consistent updates. As a DevOps engineer, this word consistent updates, you need to pay attention to it because sometimes you may want to deploy um, a particular application or software, and you would need to understand or read the documentation to know how consistent, any package you are using for your application, how consistent will it be so that it does not break anything when you deploy it to production. Everything I'm saying may sound um, a bit like a jargon, but with time you really grasp the concepts and all of the words together. So examples of Linux distros, we have Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian, CentOS, Red Hat, I did put it here, Kali Linux, and the rest. There's so many of them. Somebody's asking, is this class recorded? Yes, it is recorded. Hopefully, it is recorded. Okay. It says discussion. So that's so far. Does anybody here have a question? Anybody? Can you all even hear me? Can everyone hear me? Yeah. Any questions? Is it clear? Is it okay? Someone asking how to install Linux. Yes, that is our next slide. So here we're going to be seeing how to set up our own Linux environment, but because of the duration of this class, I'm not going to be doing it right now. I will just send in the video for us to see, but I may just show you so that you would have a good understanding on how to install your own virtual machine or VirtualBox. Okay, step one says how to install VirtualBox. I changed this. There's so many ways. One thing to understand is in IT, there is so many ways to achieve a goal. There is so many ways. So I put this here on the slide, but I guess before I send it over for us to see, I will change it to what I'm going to be showing you today. This is one way to actually do it, but I had to think of a much more easier method for us to be able to install VirtualBox and also create our first virtual machine which has Ubuntu installed on it. So how to get that done? Okay, yeah, I think this is it. I have to delete the first slide. So this is it. So first, step one, create a new VM. Step two, allocate a RAM and a disk. Step three, mount. I need to edit this. I'm still talking about the old one method. All right, so let me just show you. Like I said, there's so many ways to achieve same goal in IT. Okay. Now, for example, let's assume I have a fresh new um a fresh and a new laptop, all right, or a new screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this sharing and share my entire screen so you can see what I'm trying to do. So just give me some minute. Okay, so this is my screen. This is VirtualBox. Okay, so first of all, how do you install this VirtualBox? Okay, so the first thing is very easy. There's not too many technicalities about it. So that's why I'm using this method for you, for everyone here. So first of all, just in your Google, just search VirtualBox. I'm not searching, I'm going to the web page. Search for VirtualBox. I'm being asked for this because I have a VPN on, so it's okay. So usually it's always the first one. So just click on it. So when you click on the link, it's going to take you to the landing page of the VirtualBox. So you see the download button. So click on the download button. When you click on download, you can see it's opening a new page now. And over here, we can see different hosts. We see Windows, we see Mac OS, that's for the Apple. We see Linux distributions, we see Solaris, we see whatever. So because I'm using a Windows system, I have to click Windows host. Now, for those of us who use a MacBook, can click on Mac OS Intel host. Depending on your system, it can be Apple Silicon, it can be Intel host. So click on it. When you click, it will appear here on your browser as a download. All right. So when it appears there, you just need to go to your download button, usually here. You'll see it somewhere here. So you just double click. When you double click, it opens, and that is it. You install. It's very easy. I'm going to do a demonstration of this in a new virtual machine for us to all see. I'll probably send it tonight or tomorrow. Okay, so when you've installed the virtual box, which is this, we now need to create a virtual machine. So to create a virtual machine, you click on machine, you click on new, you say this pops up. When this pops up, you just have to click, put in the name of the machine you want, like a Linux VM, or you say Ubuntu VM, or you can give it any name you want, any name you want. All right. So most times the folder is usually done by default. Sometimes you just have to click and just choose a folder where you want the VirtualBox to store in. Now, there's different ways to do this. I told you. So there's a method where you use the ISO image, and um, I have that in the slide. Let me show you again for those who you can see it says mount the ISO. But for this method I'm showing you, you are not going to mount the ISO. Mounting the ISO. ISO is like an optical disc for um, okay, let me give a particular typical example. Just like your DVD player, the DVD player, you have to put a disc in DVD player and slot it in to play it. Okay, but we don't need that. So this optical disc for the installation, it takes a lot of time and it takes a bit of technicalities for you to actually fully do it. So that is why I opted for us to use a different method, which I said I'm going to do the video and send it across for us to see a complete video. So you just ignore this ISO. You just okay. Let me just do this. Let me say Ubuntu VM2. Leave this blank. Leave this blank. Choose the type. Of course, it's Linux. Ubuntu 64. Leave it blank. Click on next. So here, yeah. Okay. Thanks for your feedback. Uh, for please, the purpose of this class is not for you to follow. It's for you to listen. Okay. You would have to understand first before you do it. Like I said, I'm going to do the video and send across for everybody to see the step-by-step video. So this is just to explain so that we'll have a clearer picture when you're watching the video. You know what to expect. Okay. So yeah, this is not for anybody to do anything. So that I said, I'm going to have a new machine and actually download it and actually install it so that if there's an error, you also see the error. Okay, and you know how to handle it, because most of the time when you're installing a new software for the first time, you may have an error. It may be a package error or something. Okay, sometimes it may not actually give it to you. But I don't want that to be the base of our class for today because we still have a lot to do at the moment. Okay, so just for you to listen, understand. Then when I send the video, you follow the course of the video, download it, and do all this that I've said. Also, that will also be in the video. Then when that is done, you can now practice every single thing that we've done in class today. Like I said, I would be sharing the slide with everybody. So you don't have to bother yourself, just listen. It's important for you to listen and actually know so that when you're practicing it, you would be able to know what and what. And maybe if you're practicing it and you see that, oh, there's a part you don't understand, you can now reach out to me for any clarity and I'll be more than willing to assist. Okay, so here, let me go back. So after putting the name, we've chosen the folder. Sometimes it's by default. Sometimes you have to choose it. The ISO we are not using ISO image. Like I said, ISO is the disk. All right, we're not using that. So you choose the type. Sometimes it does by default, but mostly just choose Linux. When you choose Linux, most times it goes to Ubuntu 64. But if not, just choose Ubuntu 64. All right, you can see different all these are different distros of Linux. You can see Red Hat, OpenSUSE, uh, Turbo Linux, Ubuntu, different versions of them. There's so many of them, yeah. So Ubuntu 64 is okay. So click on next. Then here, this is where you choose the number of CPU. I said CPU, central processing unit. It's like the brain of the computer. That's what actually does the work. Okay. If you want your system to be fast, you choose a higher CPU, maybe 4, 5. And now this limits you to the number of CPU your system have. For example, if you are running if your laptop um, has it's an 8 GB RAM laptop, you can only give it maybe 4. Okay, but if your system is about 4 GB RAM, I'm sure it won't allow you give more than 2. Okay, but at least make sure you have at least 2, because if you have one, it may not really run, because I think the the requirement is at least 2 CPU. So when you've done this, you just click on next. Here you can change this disk size is like your hard disk. Okay, we have different kind of hard disk. We have HDD, we have SSD, and all that. By the time we get to AWS, you will hear more of disk. All right, but what disk means? Disk is your storage. On your computer, you have your storage where you see how many memory you have left. Let me show us somewhere here. You can see here. You can see my memory is showing red because I've used lots of them. So this is the disk. You can see local disk. And by this particular system, particular user that I'm actually running this on has 237 gigabyte total, and it has 11.5 gigabyte free. So definitely, it's not going to allow me even give you 25 because I don't have enough storage in the host machine. Now my laptop is the host machine, okay, and this virtual box is the guest machine. Most times people interchange machine for VMs. So when I say machine, I hope you understand what I'm trying to refer to. Okay, so I said my laptop is the host machine and the VirtualBox is the guest machine. So there's no way the guest will not eat more food than somebody who owns the house. You get, because my system is telling me I have only 11 gig left. So this will not work. And the least you can have for your virtual machine, so you need to have enough memory. Okay, is at least 25 gigabytes. This is default, but you can increase it to 50 if you have more than. Okay. Now, when this is done, this is um oh yeah, I'm sorry. So this is when this is done, that's why you now go to next, 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 and next, and all. All right. But now, because we're going to be downloading a already pre-installed disk. That is what we are going to be downloading. So this is the part where we will be use an existing virtual hard disk. So it's called it has a .vdi extension. Okay, I already have one installed and I'm already using it. You can see it here. Okay, but let me show you how to download a virtual disk that has Ubuntu installed already on them. So you do not have to go through the hassle of installing the OS yourself. It takes a bit of time and it's a bit more technical, and I don't think we'll have that time to do all that. Okay, so let me just show us. I go to my browser, I pop in here, and I say OS boxes slash Ubuntu. All of this is going to be sent to you. So please just observe and just watch, understand what I'm trying to do. So usually, like I said, it's usually the first one. So I'll click on this. It's popping open. Okay, so I can see different versions of Ubuntu 24, 25. There's so many of them. I mean, there's so many of them. I think the latest now is 25.1. You can see 24.10, 24.04. But the one I actually want us to use is 22.04, this one. Okay. Now, remember when I said there is different ways to actually download to do things in IT. Now, we used VirtualBox for our infrastructure to create our VM. Some people use VMware. Some people use what they call Vagrant. There's so many ways. Okay. So make sure you are clicking on VirtualBox. It's already on VirtualBox. So if I click on VMware, you see the one for VMware, but we need VirtualBox. So click on VirtualBox. So make sure this is clicked. I may not explain this in the video because I want to be short. So please pay attention. Click on VirtualBox. So you download it. When I click on download, this is the one we want, the VDI. So the VDI, you can see VirtualBox VDI, which is virtual disk. Okay, this is the one we want. So anything virtual means, of course, virtual online. So instead of having a physical disk, going on Amazon and buying a disk on Amazon, so you can actually download a virtual one, just like people use eSIM, electronic SIM card now, instead of having going to the high street buying buying an EE SIM or Vodafone SIM or buying a Libera SIM card. You can actually just buy one and buy an eSIM and it works as perfectly as a physical SIM card. So it's still the same concept that's working here. So download the VDI and click on download. So it's popping, giving me a different page. Let's see what that page is. Oh, there's somebody on the queue waiting to join. Page not responsive. Okay, let me click on it again. I don't know if because of my VPN, so let me turn it off and see what's going to happen. when that is off. Close this. Refresh. Okay. Before I click on the download button, there's a very, very important information that I missed. And I may not remember to say it in the video. So let me say it now. When you click on the info button here, it will give you how to log in into your machine. Don't forget, this is a disk that has already been installed. Your software, your Ubuntu OS is already installed in the disk. Okay, so you are only just downloading the disk and mounting it in your machine and turn it on. It will work perfectly. Just like somebody who goes to the high street or Facebook Market, or has a friend that is using a particular laptop, a MacBook, and say, "Oh, let me buy your, let me, can you sell me your MacBook, or can you sell me your laptop?" And the person sells it to you. You know, the person who's already using it has already had all the Microsoft Word, Excel, the Windows OS or Mac OS, everything installed inside the laptop. So you're not really doing anything in the laptop than just to probably format it and start using it as your own. It's different when you go um, to to Chorus and say you want to buy a new laptop. It's going to be empty. There's nothing inside of it. You will need to buy a Windows OS or a Mac OS to install inside that laptop. Okay, so this is like telling a guy, please give me your laptop. I'll buy it from you. But this time around, you are downloading it and you're not buying it. You can see Get Tools already installed. Everything's already installed. So this is how to log in. So most times, take note of just the password, which is the osboxes.org. Okay, osboxes.org. I'll try to put this in the documentation so we can um, see it in case we forget. So, like I said, click on VirtualBox, click on download. I can see that it's opening now. So most likely it was my VPN that was stopping it. You can see your download will start shortly. Yeah. So when it downloads, say 4, 3, 2, 1 to appear somewhere here, you can see it here. It's downloading, but I don't want it, so I'll cancel. Okay. So this is what you're going to be doing. So when this is installed, it is very, very easy. So when this is installed, I will show you something now. So it's going to download as a .7 zip. This is a lot of information, I know, for those of us who are starting for the first time. I know, but it's something that you must know anyways. Okay, so that's why I'm trying to take my time and also send extra video. Also send this video an extra video for the particular steps on how to download it, so we can have a proper simple information on how to actually complete that task. Okay, now um, so this is it here. But this file, you can see the file type. It says 7Z file. It is showing a 7Z file because it has been compressed. All right, it has been compressed. When I mean compressed is it has been, because you cannot download information over, you cannot send data over the information. I mean, sorry, you cannot send data over the internet just like that. You have to compress it. Okay, so when it is compressed, you can now send it, because if you do not compress it, the data will be corrupted. So most of the time, when for another way to explain this is, if you want to send um Let me see if I can show something. I think this class is gonna be exceed 1 hour, so you have to be more patient with me. I want to explain something for us so we can know why a file is compressed. It cannot be sent over the internet just like that. Okay, just how things work in the internet as a whole. For for security and for it's what they call integrity purpose. You understand? To make sure that what you're downloading is what you are actually getting. All right. Now let's assume this man here has a box on his hands. Yeah, the man has a very short hand. Has a box on his hand. He needs to pass this box to somebody across seven seas and seven oceans. Yeah, to a gentle. Ah, come on. To another gentleman here. You see, if this, if he was to send this information here, he can't just send it. Okay, he has to put it in the box, just like your Amazon box, to do a delivery. When you order so many things, so many things, so many things, so many things, yeah, Amazon would not send you. Let's say a lady now orders a makeup, orders a brush, orders shower tools, order so many things from one store. Now, the store is not going to send all your item, send paintbrush first, send a lip gloss first, send no. That is not good branding. Okay? So what they are going to do first is to what package it into a box. So you have all your orders in one box and send it across to you. Then I say, "Oh, thank you. Your order has been delivered." You say, "Oh, thank you. Your order has been delivered." Yeah. Now, so it's still the same thing that we're trying to do here. So we cannot just send information over the internet. It has to be what? To be boxed. Okay. So that is why um, we have the our file compressed. So to extract it, so we're going to have need a tool. When this Amazon guy sends this information to you, in your house, you yourself, you have to what? Open the box, like tear off the label, open the box, and like and take out all of your items that you bought individually. So that's what we're trying to achieve here. So to do that, we need to download a tool like a 7-zip extractor. So it does it's usually the first one. So click on download. Click on download, which is 64-bit. For Mac OS, you always see it at the top anyways. All right, so just click on it. So this is very easy. So when you click on download, it appears here. You come to your download file. Your download file. This is mine. So what you have to do, see, it's a very simple, small file size. Just double click and install it. It's very easy to do that. Okay. So when you do that, when you do that, you can now sorry. So when you do that, you cannot extract the the file. So how do you extract the file? You just right click on it. Okay. Why are we using a 7-zip file? It is because the file type here says 7-zip file. Okay, that is why we downloaded a 7-zip file extractor. Okay, so you use if Amazon sends you a package and says, "Oh, use this tool to open the box," and DPD sends another box and says, "Use this key." Can I use DPD's key to open Amazon box in the literal sense? You know, so that's what we're doing here. So we are using this to extract the file. So just right click. Sorry, this is it here. Right click. You see open with 7-zip. Someone talking. Okay. So, but here I will use the extract all to extract all of the data, that will be compressed here. And when you do that, you will see a folder here. This is my folder, 64 bits. This is the file, 64 bits. You can see it here. All right. So just open it to see what's inside, just like our Amazon box. Open it. You remove the label, and you will see our order, which is Ubuntu 2204. Now, to use this, don't forget, I said this is a virtual disk image. Yeah, we need it because it has Ubuntu installed, it's pre-installed. You're not doing anything. You're not doing anything. So you just have to go to your virtual box, like I said earlier. We are here, right? So come here to attach that particular disk. Click on Add. Go to the folder that you have it. Okay, downloads 64 bit, 64 bit. You click on it and you say open. All right, but I won't do this because I already have it here running. Okay, so when that is done, you are as well completed the task on how to install VirtualBox and install your Ubuntu on it. So when you've done this show button will tell you to start it. Okay, let me stop this machine. I want to show you. You can see it has changed to start, right? So when I say start, you will start it. Let me click on start. This class is going to take a bit longer than 1 hour. We still have a lot to cover, and we're still just on installing Ubuntu. I'm taking my time to explain this to you so that when you have the video, um, you don't see it as a big deal. It will be something that's familiar to you already. Okay? I believe in the concept of building familiarity with something so that when you finally get to touch it or do it, it's not difficult. All right? My machine seems to take a lot of time to power up. So let's give some time. We'll come back to that. Okay. So what do we do? We created a VM. We allocated a RAM and a disk on it. We didn't mount the ISO because we didn't need it, like I said earlier. And then we started the VM. So you see, instead of 5 steps, we've reduced it to just 3 steps. Okay, so I want us to have something that's a bit lesser and still achieving the same aim. This still meets the same purpose because what we're actually using is the Ubuntu Jammy, but this is for the ISO file. So ignore this. Like I said, I did this and also send us the slide for us to see. So to repeat, we created a new VM, we, we allocated a RAM and a disk, and then we started the VM. Okay. And of course, before we did the allocation of the RAM and the disk, we had to download the VDI from OS boxes. Okay, so configure networking, bridged, and NAT. This is for the VirtualBox. I think we've taken too much time on this, so I would explain this. This is just an optional thing for you to do. Most of, um, okay, maybe let me just show us. Okay, my Ubuntu is running already. Okay, so when you go to settings, my system is a bit slow. I need to um, delete some files to give it some space. You'll see the network. Okay, you'll see by default it already have the NAT installed. You can see the bridged. You can see different other network types. Okay, this is just optional, so let's leave it this way. Okay, so this slide just explains to us the difference between a NAT and a bridge adapter. Why I took my time to explain this NAT and bridge is because during our AWS class and during our networking class, we are still going to touch on these things. Okay, so um, let me see if I can explain this in the next 5 minutes. So your NAT simply means network address translation, just to help you to translate whatever information you are passing to the internet, because the internet is operates on binaries, ones and zeros. Let me show us something. So the internet is all about one and zero, one and zero, one and zero. That's how the internet operates. And every person in the world who uses a device or who uses the internet has an IP address. Okay, I won't talk much about this because we are still going to come this during our AWS class, during our networking class, and also during the Linux networking class. We'll talk about IP address. But um, every single person in the world have an IP address or has an IP address because the internet need to allocate you to something. But how does how does the how does your system operate if it uses an IP address? How do you go to the internet and type google.com? How do you go to the internet and type facebook.com when everything operates by IP address or by binaries, ones and zeros? Like I said, we'll explain that later. But just for the purpose of this class, I'm just going to give us a bit of this diagram. We can see here, right? This is our VirtualBox VM, which is um, the one we've just downloaded, right? We have a router in our houses, which is connected to the internet. Now, this internet cannot, does not know where your house is. Okay, your your phones does not know where Google is. Okay, um, what it knows is that Google's IP is 8.8.8.8. All right. So when you type google.com, it is the NAT that helps you to translate it to the address of Google. So, oh, the person typed google.com, but the person actually meant .8.8.8. Oh, sorry, 8.8.8.8. Okay. So for the purpose that is for networking. Now let's come back to VirtualBox as a whole. Now, for this, how does this NAT operate when you have your NAT configured in your VirtualBox? Okay, your VM shares your host computer's IP address to the internet, which means you can see here. This is my VM, or this is your VM. It has an IP address of 172.18.15.17. This is it, the one here. Okay, I can see that in my virtual box, you can create as many VMs as you want. All right, you can create two, three, four, five, six, depending on your laptop memory. So when you do that, you can see it will now use same IP as your system, which is 172.18.15. You can see it now allocates 171 to VM1, 172 to VM2, 173 to VM3. It is using the same subnet mask and the same IP address range. Now, when I say subnet mask and IP address range, it sounds new, but we are going to be dealing with all this in our networking class and the Linux networking class, also in AWS. So do not bother about it. Just understand that your VM uses the same address. Now, let me bring it home. For example, you have a friend who just came from Uganda or from Zimbabwe or from Nigeria, to the UK and says, "Oh, I don't have anywhere to stay. Can you put me in your place for the meantime?" The person comes to your house and stays with you. And peradventure, the person have a wife and two children. Okay, that is your friend. Let's assume is a man, VM1. The wife, VM2. Their two children, VM3 and VM4. Now, if peradventure your friend and the wife want to open a bank account, they will need an address, right? So which address will they use? They will have to share your address with you because that is where they are staying, right? That is a simple definition of a NAT, network address translation. It shares the same information as the host. This I'm explaining this based on VirtualBox. Okay. Now, but for the bridge adapter, okay, you can see from the diagram here, it is on its own. You can so now let me bring this home with some analogy as the NAT. Now let's imagine that this friend of yours, he now decides that, oh, I've been living in your house for too long. Okay, your neighbor just moved out. Let me move to the next. Maybe a friend moves out within the neighborhood, or within the same flats, or within the same street, or within the same area. Okay, let me move out of your place and get my own place, but we're still sharing the same compound, maybe the flat downstairs or the flat upstairs. Okay, so you can see that the your friend is no longer dependent on you, so they would not have to change their own address. It could be maybe your address can be 172, and because they have moved to a new address now, it can be 196 or 198 or 200. Do you understand the difference now? Okay, even though you may live in the same compound, like in the compound, you can also Let's wait for others to join in back. That is if they're still coming in. Okay. So far so good. Is there any doubt or any question as regards what I've been saying so far? I've said a lot of things for about an hour plus now. Sorry, I didn't hear you clearly. Sorry. Okay, okay, we'll be more clear. Okay. All right. I would just continue from what I was saying. So I said, so let's assume this is your friend. Now moves to your neighbor's place who just moved out, and they now have their own place of their own. Now it could be in the same flat, it could be in the same building, it could be in the same compound, the same environment, the same area, you see. But that's why I said the same network, okay, as your host PC. So it could be that, oh, you and your friend lives within London, or you and your friend lives within Southwest London, or live within Lagos, or we live within Kampala, or no, live within Paris, you know. So you share the same, co-location, but not the same address. So this is what's happening here. You can see the VM now, which is the bridged one, is sharing the same internet like the router, but not the same address because it is seen as its own device, its own human being, or its own machine. Your friend has to pay his own tax, has to pay his own water bill, has to pay his own council tax, has to pay his or her own transport fare, whatever, whatever, you know. So they have to pay their own bills. So this why so it acts like a separate device on your Wi-Fi or your LAN. What a LAN means? A LAN means a local area network. This is a local area network. Okay? Anything within your surrounding is local, right? So that's what that's all about. So let's move on quickly. So why do we use port forwarding? This I don't think we have the time to explain this, but what this is just explaining is just to be able to um, access the internet, okay, and also share the same um, IP as your machine. Just a bit of security, so there's nothing really happening here. Okay, so it will help you access SSH. This SSH, we're going to be doing it very much in Linux. Okay. SSH means secure shell. Okay. A web server is what you deploy, what you're going to be doing as a DevOps engineer every single day. So, congratulations, you heard your first web server language today. Okay. So, now this is just an information that's explaining why we use port forwarding. I don't think this is necessary for this class. But I'll just have to teach it anyways because as a DevOps engineer, you are going to do it over and over and over and over at some point. So port forwarding means it's now let me explain this in the most layman term. For example, your friend is staying in your house. He came with his wife and two children. Okay, now let's assume the Amazon guy comes to okay, let me give us a simple diagram. So let's assume that an Amazon guy comes and brings a parcel. Okay, or okay, let me not say Amazon this time. I've used Amazon analogy quite a lot. So let's assume it's now Christmas time. Okay, you, the owner of the house, your friend and his family who are living with you, they are in your house, and it's Christmas time. And for some reasons, Santa sends um, a gift, to you for the family. Now, what are you going to do? First of all, sorry, I'm just trying to give us a bit of an illustration so we catch the picture. So if um, Santa Claus, which is for like Christmas for those of us who are from Nigeria, yeah, comes and says, "Oh, I have this amazing parcel for this family of 112, what am I right? London Avenue, right? Or Lagos Avenue, right? But now we won't use this address because this is um, a layman term. Let's use something technical and say this is your address 192.10.10.51. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is your IP address, which is the internet language for address. And say, okay, I have a parcel for this address, and there are how many persons now? Your family has four families. And let's say assume you and your your girlfriend, you're not married. Okay, are living in the house. So it is you and your girlfriend plus your friend and his wife with the children. So that is four because it came with two extras. So it's six of you now are living in this address. Now, how does Santa Claus distribute this parcel to six persons who are living in the same house? All right. So everybody here would now need to have their own address, their own IP address. So let's assume this is the address, right? When I say, okay, 192.10.10.51, this one collect 52, you collect 53, you collect 54, you collect 55, you collect 56. All right. So now, when Santa comes in and he picks up a toy and says, "Oh, who has this fancy toy? They call it Barbie doll." He said, "Oh, it's for the pretty little young girl in the corner, and our address is 56." So he knows who to give it to because in the label it has 192.10.10.56. So he passes the address. So who owns this motor vehicle, this toy? Of course, it's for 55, the boy. So Santa passes it to 192.10.10.51.55. So it does all this all through till it gets to the last person. That is the simple definition of IP addressing that we're trying to do here. Okay, you can see without port forwarding here, okay, a visitor comes to your house and says, "Hello, 11122.3.4. Can I talk to the web server?" Which means, can I talk to the owner of this house? All right. And he says, "Oh," he speaks to the security man on the gate, It says, I'm sorry, I don't know anybody bearing that name. So they return the parcel back to Santa. It doesn't get to you. Okay. But with port forwarding, yeah, everybody has their own number. Okay. Now, this I used an IP address for a reason so we can easily understand. Okay. But in the literal sense of it, all right, a port actually means a peripheral. For example, in your laptop, we have where we plug our charger, the holes where maybe we want to collect music from our phone or want to collect our pictures from our laptop where you plug. Those are ports. Okay. So those ports are for a particular usage. For example, if you want to do an SSH, you know, to a particular device, you will need a port number. I can say this dash P is a port number. It tells you that, oh, send this information to this port number dash P 2222. So it could be any port number. All right. So I used IP address in the last analogy for us to get the full picture. Okay. But when talk about ports, ports are those tiny holes we have in our laptops. All right. Those ports have different numbers you can attach to them. Okay. So such that if you want to send a file to that port number, we can actually send a file to that port number and get it from our device. You can insert a device and send a file through that port and you get it. So all this is going to be explained in our next classes. But I want to believe we get the picture using the IP address and also using the port number I've just said. All right, discussion. Any question or any doubt about what I've been saying so far before we move to a more serious business? Anyone? Okay, I want to believe nobody has a question, so we'll move. Okay, so we have the essential Linux commands. Now, this is our Linux file directory. Anywhere you see the word directory, it means a folder. Anywhere we see this word directory, it means a folder. Please keep this in mind. You can see different directories here that our Linux system has. We have the bin, we have the boot, we have the dev, the etc, the home, the root, the run, the sbin, the tmp, the usr, the var, and other child directories under them. Okay, now this is just a picture of them. Okay, so you can see the explanations here. So the bin is where we have all the commands, our ls, cp, move, rom, everything going to be running. This is where they are being stored in the Linux directory. Okay, so the boot, it's where our system boot from, our OS boot from. All right. Then we have the etc. This is a configuration file folder. The home, it's where we have our personal directories, for example, where we store our users. For example, we can on your laptop, you can have different users on your laptop, whether a Mac OS laptop, a MacBook, a Windows laptop, a Linux system. You can have more than one user. Most of us here, we only have our laptop and we don't have any extra user on our laptop. You can actually create a space for your friend in your laptop, okay? And it won't tamper with any file that you have. So you can create a user for any laptop, whether Linux, whether MacBook, or whether Windows. So it's the same with also a Linux system. All right. And these are usually in the home. You can see I have a user called Alice. I have a user called Bob. I have a user called Eve. All right. Then we have the root. This is the root in Linux. This is where every security privilege lies in. You don't give anybody a root access to your system. You just like giving somebody password to your laptop. If they have your laptop, they can as well log in and steal whatever information you have. So the root is very, very important. It has your it has your security information. So you don't share your root. You don't give any user a root access except they are an admin of that company, or you are the one who is actually the main user. So you can give yourself a root access to use the root. So how do you give root access? You use the sudo. You can see the super user is called a sudo. All right, we'll see that when we start our Ubuntu. So we have the S bin. This TMP is it means temporary files. We have the USR, the var. You can see everything here. Let me not explain too much, so we can move on to the next things. And we have some commands here like help, date, clear, man, and uptime. All right. So we are going to um, be do a bit of a exercise. It says how many continents do we have in the world? Please, can you just put on the chart for me, please, quickly? How many continents do we have in the world? Okay, someone says seven. Last time they checked. Okay, so it says okay. So let's write down two countries in each continent. You don't have to write it down. You can put it in your head. Write down two countries in each continent: in Europe, in Africa, in South America, North America. Just put one in your head. Put two countries in your head. Write down two popular cities in each country. For each country that you have in your head, put down two countries. All right. In Europe, let's say Belgium. Two cities in Belgium. Um, if it's UK or England, two cities in England. If it's Scotland, two cities in Scotland. Of course, if Africa, Kenya, two cities in Kenya, and all of that. So just put it in your head, yeah. So what we're going to do is we are going to now create files and directories. All right. So we're going to be creating files and directories in um, in our Ubuntu machine. So these are things we are going to be doing when you have installed your Ubuntu. You need to please practice this. If you don't practice this, you as much did not do anything today. This is not um, a okay. Let me not say it. Please just practice it. All right, it's very, very important. So first of all, here we are going to create a file, and then we now create a directory. We create a multiple file. We create a multiple directories. Then we create files directly in. I mean, that are directly inside the directory. What this means is a directory inside a directory. For example, in Asia, all right, Asia is big; it's a continent. We now have a country, right? So we now have Japan, right? It's a country. So Japan is a directory inside this file tokyo.txt. Now, anything that has an extension is a file. It can be doc, it can be a .txt. It can be A file can have like this file dot txt. It can be dot doc, your MS Word. It can be dot PDF, your PDF file that you might send as email. It can be dot VDI, the one we just installed for our virtualbox. All right. There are different extensions of files. So for today, we're dealing with .txt file, a simple text file. Okay. Then after that, let me see what we can do again today. Um, so find your way in Linux. Okay, so let's finish this first. So let's create a file, then create a directory, create multiple files, create multiple directories, and create file directories inside the directory. Okay, so I have my Ubuntu machine running here. You see, I told you earlier that you can create a user for yourself. You can see I have two users in my Ubuntu machine, one called Gabriel.com and another one called OS Boxes. All right. So let me open this one and see. I have my password. So I just log in. So this is your Ubuntu machine. This is how your interface is going to look when you have installed your Ubuntu in your VirtualBox. And it is very, very important you master this aspect of um, IT, because if you really, really want to do be tech involved, you need to know Linux systems. I'll just click on skip. It's showing me this because this is the first time I'm logging into the user. Okay, so this is not your regular Windows and MacBook. We deal mostly on a timeline, on a terminal. All right. So to go to my terminal, I'll come here. I'll look for my terminal. Um, Let me search for it. It's actually okay. Yeah, it's here. Why are you hiding from me, man? All right. So now we have it here. We have our terminal. This is what the terminal is. Okay. Now, okay. Let me just close this for now. Minimize this for now. Now, first of all, when you have installed your Ubuntu, okay, let me explain that. I'll say that in the video. Let's go straight to the task at hand. So to create a file, what do? You use the command, just like the one I sent you um, in the group. Okay, I don't have to explain what the touch command is because I already sent it to you in the group. All right, but for FRC purpose, a touch command simply helps you to write an information. Okay, you can use different command. I can use a cat. I can use a touch. Okay, so a touch helps us to create an empty file. All right. So let me say I want to create the continent Africa, just like what we have in our diagram. Sorry, I said I'm creating a file, not a directory. So a file. So which name should I give? Let me say Lagos.txt. I have Lagos.txt. Let me create another file. Touch and say London.txt. I click enter. It's gone. Now, how do I see it? If you read through the file I sent you in the group, you would see the word ls. Ls is used to view. Okay, ls means long, to list. Ls, list what I have here. You see my london.txt. Sorry, can you see my screen, please? Thank you. You see, I have london.txt. We now have lagos.txt, which I created. This is my file. They are what? Empty files. Okay, so now let me create a directory. How do you create a directory? You say mkdir. So mk means make directory. So it's just a short word. All these are command. What's a command? A command is an order you are giving. Don't forget, this guy here is a user. Okay, you can create your user. If you, when you log in into your laptop, you know, you have a name for your laptop. You can name you can name your laptop different names. You can say, oh, Gabby, Gabby's laptop, or Jumai's laptop, all right, or Angel's laptop. That name you gave, it's your user for that laptop. So for Ubuntu, you would, or for Linux systems, you always see the user, all right. But how do you know who you are? This is just me digressing a bit, just to explain to you. Just say, who am I? Maybe if I'm not sure of who you are when you are using your Linux systems, just type who am I. You'll see to tell you who you are. You are Gabriel, which is you are the user, Gabriel, or you Gabriel. All right. So let's go back. We now have our text file, two text files. So what next? Let's create a directory. I use the make directory, mkdir. I'll put a space. I need to create a directory for Africa. I'll say Africa, right? And I click enter. Now don't forget, I did not say make directory africa.txt. No, it's the same as you opening a folder in your MacBook and in your um, Windows. You just give it a name. For example, you can say, "Oh, my wedding pictures." That is it. You can say, "Oh, my vacation," or my June 2025 lifestyle. For example, when you go on holidays, my holiday pictures. It's a folder. You just give it a name. All right. So just give it a name. The name is the name of the folder. It's as simple as that. So give it a name as a directory, click enter, and that is it. So what happens if I want to create the same directory I've created before? Let me see. You see, it's giving me an error. It says cannot create directory Africa. File exists. Okay, so that's how you see an error in in a Linux when you're creating um, a directory. All right. So how do we see our directory that we created? Let's create another one. Let's say make directory. Let's create a new one. Let's create for Europe. Europe. Click enter. Okay, it is gone now. So how do I see what I've created? Another ls, a list. You can see, where is it? You see, Africa, Europe. Now, in Linux systems, they've helped you to differentiate what a file is and what a directory is. You can see that in your directory, it's having a blue color, right? Africa, blue, Europe, blue, London.txt, white, Lagos.txt, white. I hope this is clear enough. It's as simple as this. You create a file, you create a directory. A directory is a folder. It's as easy and simple as that. Now, when you have a wedding picture, when you do a wedding and you want to save your wedding pictures in a folder, what do? You put a folder and you move those your wedding pictures into that folder, or you move your holiday pictures into those folders. It's as easy as that. All right. So now, how do we create multiple files as we have in our Okay, so we've done the create a file, we've done create a directory. Now it said create multiple files. We have Tokyo.txt, Paris.txt, we have Nairobi.txt. Okay, all right, so let's do that. All right, so I already have Africa as a folder. I have Europe as a folder. So let's create a multiple file. I'll still use the same touch command. I'll say tokyo.txt space paris.txt space, and I'll say nairobi.txt. I click enter. It's gone. I don't have any error. Now, what happens if I type in something wrong? Let me say I type in nairobi.txt and I put a different stuff here. I say 111. Let me see what's going to happen. It still went through because it's part of the name you are giving to your extension. The system does not know what you're trying to say. All right, let me remove. Don't worry about what I'm doing. I will explain it later for us. Okay, so we've done this. Okay, I'm sorry, we've done this and we've done this. Now let me see. What I did here was to rm is remove, was to remove this one here. Now let's see how many paris.txt, this tokyo.txt, and yeah, so because you have 1 2 here, 1 2 here. Let me see if it actually created it. Because for maybe I shouldn't have removed this one. So um I should have allowed us see it first before I take it off. But it is fine. For it not to give me an error, it shows that it was actually created. All right. So let's view this directory. All right, to see where this how many Tokyos and Paris that we have. If this command actually worked, if it only created only this one and didn't create this other one. Remember the last time we couldn't create Africa twice because we already have it as a directory. It says file already exists. Okay, but here I have Tokyo here and Tokyo here. I have Paris here and I have Paris here. So let me see if it actually created it for me. All right. I'm sure of this one because this one is different from this one. It has a different text extension. So I do another ls. I can see only one Paris and one Tokyo. So what is saying to me that it ignored this one and just gave me this one, which I have now deleted. I hope this is clear. Because there's no point creating the same file anyways because they are same name and same extension. All right, so what else are we supposed to do? We've created multiple files now. Now let's try to create a multiple directory. How do we create a multiple directory? So make directory. Let's create for, okay, let me go back to our image. We've done for Tokyo, Paris, and Nairobi. We have Africa already, so we have Europe already. So let's create this directory, Asia and South America. Okay, so make directory, because we have to create multiple. We can create 2 or 3 or 4, but let's make do with 2. Okay, let's see. I want to intentionally leave something behind from, okay, I want to intentionally leave a particular command and see if it's going to work just for testing purposes. So we have Asia and South America. Let's add North America. So this is it. So Asia space, South America space, North America space, click enter. Oh, it worked. Okay, so let's do ls and see what we have here. It's created. We have North America, we have South America, and we have where is Asia? Asia is here. Okay, so everything we've created so far has worked. Okay, now let's do the last one. It says create files directly inside a directory. So which means in this Asia, create Japan. So sorry, create Japan inside of Asia. All right. Let's because of course Japan is a country in Asia, right? And Japan has different cities in it. All right. So Japan cannot be a file. It will be a folder because it has so many other keys under it, which are the cities. I hope this concept is coming home with us. Okay, so let's create a directory inside a directory. Okay, so how do we do this? We say make directory. This is the command I left when I was creating for this one, because the dash p says as a parent. All right, but now let me leave this and let's see what's gonna happen. Um, Let me create a different continent that. Okay, let me remove. Sorry, guys. I think someone's trying to join us. So let me see who is it and see if I can let them in. All right. Okay. Okay. So let me take off some of the directories so I can be able to um, recreate them. So what I'm doing right now, it's simple remove directory. Yeah, I said remove, right? RM remove Nairobi. I took it off. Yeah, I'm saying RM, which is remove, and I put in what I want directory. So RM directory, not America, not Asia and Africa, and it's all gone. So when I do ls, I won't see them here anymore. I've taken them off. So let's create a new directory inside a directory. Okay, so I'd say make directory. You need to add the p command as a parent. So we have Africa. In Africa, we have a country called um, oh sorry, um, sorry, I missed something. It says sorry, create files in directly inside a directory. We're creating files rather, not two directories, which is fine anyways. So let's continue. So Africa, we have a a country. We have Lagos already, so we have Nairobi already. So where should I use? Let me say no Kampala. Should I use Kampala? Yeah, let me use Kampala. Say Kampala dot txt. You can see I'm attaching Kampala to Africa. Yeah. Okay. Let me use Africa. Let me attach the country. Like let me say Kenya. Is Kenya? Is Kampala in Kenya? Uganda. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, my brother. My Ugandan brother. I'm sorry, my brother. Yeah. So let me say Uganda. All right. So Uganda, I'm attaching Kampala to Uganda as a now. Uganda is the directory, which is the parent. All right. And I'm attaching this file, kampala.txt, which is a city, all right, inside Uganda. All right. So let me just test it and say, oh, sorry. Okay, now we have it. Now, how do I know if this is work? Now, I only did for a single file. So let me do for multiple. So make directory slash p. We already have Uganda slash Kampala. So let me choose another country in Africa. Let me say uh, let me say Ghana. Accra, which is a city.txt. Um, In Europe, sorry, I'm sorry, stuff in Europe. Let me say France slash Paris.txt. Um, which other country should I use? Guys, give me ideas. Okay. Um, Rwanda Kigali.txt. So let's click enter. Okay, so it worked. It has gone through now. So how do I know that this file that I've attached to this directory is actually inside the directory? So what do I do? Just normally you say ls list. First of all, list it and see exactly if it's even created. You can see our Uganda here. Uganda is here. Our directory. I said directory is shown in blue, right? Then we have what does that create? Ghana. Ghana here is also in blue over here. All right. So how do I see first? Let me just check for Uganda. All right. So I say cat. It says cat Ghana.txt is a directory. Okay. So it's not cat is for me to open the directory and show me the file, but it's not allowing me to do that. You see, in IT or in tech, you need to understand what you are trying to do, okay, and how you know understanding what you're trying to do and where what you want to achieve, okay, so that when you have an error, you know, okay, this road is not working. Let me move the next road, or let me do the next. Let me do the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. All right, until you achieve your aim. Okay. So since this command didn't work for me, what I have to do is I will say cd. Cd means change directory. If you check through the file I sent you in the group, you'll see cd there. So cd simply means change directory. I type the word Ghana. I'm inside Ghana. How do you know if you're in the correct directory? You say pwd, print working directory. Click enter. You will see, you can see you are in your home, you are Gabriel, and you are in the room called, or in the country called Ghana. So how do I know which city I am in Ghana? I now use my ls again. List, you can see accra.txt. I have my Accra in my Ghana folder contained inside of it. So I have my accra.txt file contained inside my Ghana folder. It's going to be the same thing with my Uganda. So let me say, to go back, I say cd dot dot. All right. It's taking me back. And I don't know where I am at the moment. So let me do ls. Okay, I'm in the correct directory. To know where I am again, pwd, print working directory. I am in my home, Oye Gabriel. Okay. These are things you will use every single day. If it's looking new to you, once you have downloaded your Ubuntu machine from the steps I've shown you earlier and from the video I'm going to send to everyone, please, these simple tasks in there is so many of them already in page. I don't know what page is this. Page 21 of 35. Please go through them. Do all of these. Do them as much as possible. Use different analogies. All right. All right. I've been able to list some of them for you in the stuff here. So in the slide here, I'll send it across for everyone to also see. Please practice them. Please and please practice them. I beg you in the name of God. All right. So let's check our Uganda guy. and see if our the was what we created. Did we create Uganda? No, oh sorry, I can't see. This is it, right? So we did Ghana, we did France. Okay, yeah, this is it. So we did Uganda with Kampala.txt alone. So let's check it out. So cd say change directory Uganda. Sorry. All right. So I'm inside my directory. So how do I know I am inside the right directory? I can see it here. But if I'm still not sure, I'll say pwd print working directory. I'll see it here. Everything. All right. If I'm not sure, now how do I see the file inside the Uganda list ls? You can see kampala.txt. All right. I hope this is getting interesting for us. It will get more and more interesting, more and much more interesting. Trust me. You are here for a very sweet ride. You're gonna have a very good time. Trust me. Okay, so I will leave it here for us to practice in our home when we have the machine installed. Everything here I've already explained them. PWD I've spent ls, ls slash l is the same um, information, the different information but more detailed information. XL slash A, all this practice them in your home, but I'll try and do them in the next in the last lab we're gonna be having right now, so we can just wrap it up here. Um, okay, so it says copy a file, move a file, rename a file, delete a file. All this, let me leave it for you to do them. These are very easy. So create your folders as we did, and I've already tried to practice the remove already, which is delete. So you try the copy, you try the move, you try the move. If you have any error, you let me know. Um, and I would be grateful to, very happy to help you out. So let's move. Everything here is quite explanatory. Just like I've said, maybe I will try one for us before we call it a day. So this is the one I want to try for us before we call it a day. You see, using the cart, you see, we created a file which is our lagos.txt. Now let's write a content inside that file. All right, let's write a content inside the file. That is what we will do next and call it a night. Okay, so we are in the Uganda folder, so let's use it. Sort of um, jumping here and there. All right, so now let's write a command. Let me see the number of people in this class. People who are in this class. Um, I have Onye, I have Ronnie. Oh, our call ends in the next 12 minutes. So I have Sharon, I have Valentine. Okay, so let me use our name for that file. So let's say echo our double quote. Say Onye, comma, Sharon, um, Ronnie, what's the next person? Valentine, and then Salami. Okay, Valentine, close quote. I can't see my close quote anymore. Okay, now I have it here. So I would say put it inside. That is why I have this arrow here. This arrow means it's pointing it to put this data inside this file, kampala.txt. Enter. Oh, sorry. It says kampala.txt is a directory. That is why it's showing blue. So it is a mistake. So let's create compile as a file. ls, we can see our file is white and this one is blue to show you that it's a folder, even though it has a .txt um, extension, but it was created as a folder. I'm sure if I scroll up, I'll see where the mistake is coming from. You see, I said make directory. That was a command. As a parent, Uganda is the parent. So, and I've already put the slash to combine these two together as a directory. So that's what the machine did for us. So your machine cannot do a mistake. You are the one, the user is the one who makes the mistake. All right. And I think I did the same for the Accra. So I'm sure when I open Ghana too and check, it's going to be the same situation. Okay. Okay, very good. You can see that is why this is the same reason why it's telling me that Ghana./Accra is a directory. I'm sure it's the same error. All right. So you need to understand what you're trying to achieve and why you're having the error. It is the basics of IT. You will always have an error. You will always, and this is the simplest of errors you can ever have. You're very soon as you progress in the course, you're going to see errors of about 1,000 pages. You can't read them all. So that is why we are going to be using this guy. Let me show you. This call will end soon, so we have to. You see this guy here using grep to search for logs. You can see log here, error log. That all everything here is important. All right. So please practice, 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 practice them. So let's go back and just call it a night. So I already have my compiler.txt. So I bring back my folder. What I did just to click up direction, to call back the command I did earlier. So I already have it here. Say echo onye Sharon Ronnie Valentine Shalami into this compile.txt file. Click enter. It's still telling me it's a directory. Okay, let me remove. Okay, I know what's happening. Now it worked. What did I do? I observed that my compiler.txt, which is the directory, it has a capital K, and I created a similar one with a small k. I recall back the command without changing the capital K. Like I said, you need to know why you're having the error. Okay, and if you don't know, you can as well just repeat your stuff and just probably give it a different name. All right, but because I know, so I can change whatever I'm doing and correct my mistakes. Okay, so it's good for you to learn and to learn from my mistakes so that you also have a better understanding. We all learn by mistakes, and mistakes is part of what we do. We embrace it because it's what makes us better. Okay. I just hope that with this few parts of mine, I've been able to help you understand some basic commands in Linux. So how do I view this command that I did? So what I do is cat compiler. The cat command is to view. You can see my sentence here already written. Okay. Now, how do I add an extra information to this? I can say echo double greater than, echo my information and say um, thanks for coming to class. Yeah, double greater than, click enter. Now let me cut it again to view my information in my file. You can see say Onyen Sharon Ronnie Valentine Salami, thanks for coming to class. So let's call it a day for today. We will have to, let me stop this recording.